All right, this video is all about accessing your child self. You know what I'm saying? So, when you're on the journey of healing your inner child, that's really where a lot of the damage was done that still affects you today. So, when you're on that journey, you might have forgot a lot of things that happened. So, you don't even know where to begin on the work. You know what I'm saying? You might have just blocked out a lot of things for your protection. One of the things that I have done personally, you know what I'm saying? I didn't read this nowhere. I didn't get this from no book. This is just something I came up with personally, and I was kind of guided to share it. So that's what I'm doing. One of the things I came up with personally was, and I don't know if this is already a thing either. I don't want to make it seem like I just made this up. You know what I'm saying? Um, Going back, like the memories start coming back when I start getting back into that childlike mode. You know what I'm saying? So when I start doing the things that I used to love doing as a kid, it's like it puts me back in that time, as well as going back and looking at pictures, as well as trying my hardest to go down memory lane and stuff, talking to people, trying to remember stuff like that. But it'll be little things, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember being a kid on Fridays and I always used to get like a Happy Meal or like a kids meal from whatever restaurant had the or fast food restaurant had the best toy, and I would go home and watch the new cartoons on Friday night on Cartoon Network. You know what I'm saying? And if there was a Disney Channel movie that came out or was about to premiere, I would watch that too. So that was my Friday night ritual when I was like between like 4 and 6, or between like 3 and 6. You know what I'm saying? So the way I try to recreate that is like I may go to Chick-fil-A just to recreate going through the drive-through, just recreate smelling the food and the fries and all of that, and just to get me back in that mode of like, ooh, I can't wait till I go home. I can't wait till I go home and just dive into this. You know what I'm saying? I'm obviously not gonna eat a Happy Meal personally. I also suggest you don't do that. But I feel like Chick-fil-A is probably the healthiest fast food restaurant, so that's why I use that as an example. Whatever works for you. Like if you even want to get the kids meal, I suggest you do that because that might make the energy more stronger. You know what I'm saying? It might really really put you back in that mode. And from there, another thing I used to like to do as a teen, because that's still your child self, is I used to like playing the game with my friends, but I never really had a lot of opportunities for that. A lot of kids, they would come home after school and they all be on like the headset and stuff together. I never really had a lot of times to have that opportunity. So now as an adult, it's like I'll be more inclined sometimes to stay home and play the game just so I could get the opportunity, just so I can kind of have that bond. It kind of puts me back in that mode. You know what I'm saying? And then it'd be weird. From there, I'll just randomly remember something. I'm randomly because it's like I'm a kid again, doing what I used to do, doing what I used to like to do as a kid. So because it's like I'm a kid again, it's like I start to remember or relive some of those memories. And sometimes it makes me like jump or something. I'll be like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? The things to trigger the memory start to become a little easier, especially since we've been like all they've been doing is remaking the same shit over and over. So it's like the rap song that's probably popular right now is probably the same sounding rap song from when you was a kid or in middle school, because niggas just keep sampling the same shit over and over. Same thing with the Jordans, same thing with the video games. When you was in middle school or a kid, it was probably like 2K1 or 2K2 or 2K9 or 2K8, whatever, however old you are. And it's like now we're just on 2K22. When I was in middle school, Modern Warfare 2 had just came out, and a couple months ago Modern Warfare 2 just came out. Just to give you an example. So it's like, damn, I'm back on the Modern Warfare 2 again. I'm back playing with my friends again, and things just start to pop up. But then there's other things too. It's like, unfortunately for me as a kid, I didn't get to really do a lot of the things like bowling. Like I went bowling one time, and I never went to laser tag. I never really got to go to the amusement parks and stuff like that as like other kids used to do. So I can't say like, oh, I'm gonna go to Six Flags and that's gonna help trigger some memories, or I'm gonna go do certain things and that's gonna help trigger memories, because I don't have those memories to trigger. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pretend like I've never been in my life, but I'm like, some kids, summer and stuff was coming. They went to Six Flags like 10 times. You know, when I was a young kid, we might have went a couple times, but like I don't have a lot of memories of doing that type of stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I never been to Chuck E. Cheese and stuff like that before. But the good thing for you is you might have. So you might just need to borrow your nephew if you don't have a kid, or if you have a kid, you might just need to take them to Chuck E. Cheese, take them somewhere like that. You know, you taking them and they having fun, but you doing it for you too. Yeah, and if you don't have a kid or something, if you don't want to go to Chuck E. Cheese, you may need to go to Dave and Buster's or something like that, just to get yourself back in that mode. You know what I'm saying? This is also a way to like tap into your real superpower and shit, because the mind that you need is your child mind, because that's when your imagination was the greatest. And if you want to have an unlimited life, you need to have a unlimited if you want to have unlimited possibilities in your life, you need to have an unlimited imagination. You need to be able to say like, shit, I'm negative 50,000 today, but I believe I could be 10 million up next month. You know, as ludicrous as that sounds, that's the type of way a child would think, and it's that type of thinking that's gonna get you to where you want to be and where you need to be. So aside from just doing the healing portion, just accessing your child self, just getting back in those modes, you know what I'm saying? You might need to cop some toys or something. You might need to do whatever you used to love to do as a child. Like, I'm thinking about copping a BMX bike and just in my complex doing wheelies. You know what I'm saying? I own a car, all of that, but I just used to really like riding bikes as a kid. You know what I'm saying? And I never really got to own one. I owned one when I was like really small and it got stolen, and I never really got to own one again. So it's like my child self when I connect with my child self, it may even be more powerful. And if you're like me, you may have them same effects, because you may not have got to do a lot of this stuff when you was younger. You know, so you might get some friends together and y'all just be like, yo, fuck it. Let's just go ride our bikes. You know what I'm saying? And not even on some exercise shit. Like, let's just go ride around our bikes. Let's ride our bikes. Go to the park and play basketball, and then go back home. Like, fuck it, why not? Let's just do that. You know what I'm saying? You and your boys should do that. You and the girls should do that. Something. Let's just ride to the park and have a little picnic. Put all the stuff in your book bag and let's just ride over there. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff put you back in that mode. It helps you tap back into that energy. I'm telling you, it works for me personally. You know what I'm saying? Immediately, because I'm kind of programmed to be miserable. Immediately, it kind of forces me to stop that. It's like when I get high. You know, I just be laughing and I'm like a goofy little kid again. And that's the place that you want to live in. You want to live in the place of being like innocent, of having unlimited imagination, and being in a joyful, peaceful place mentally. You know what I'm saying? And if you was a kid and you never really got to experience that, because don't get me wrong, as many good times I could say, there was a lot of craziness and chaos going on and shit that I witnessed as a kid. So if you were one of those people dealing with that as well, and you may be like me, you never really got to do a lot of the kid stuff, you know what I'm saying? This might be the perfect time to go back and do that, because your child self still be wanting to do that. I remember I had a cousin who, because he grew up so like religious, first time he got to do trick-or-treating when he was like 20. And that motherfucker was so excited. Like, he borrowed my mask, and you can't see his face, but you could tell, like, you could just feel his energy, that he was smiling from ear to ear. And he was like 20, 21. And he was just kind of pretending to be like the big jock kid in school. He just going around and he was pretending like his daughter was like his little sister. He just going around and just collecting candy. You could see how excited he was, not even for the candy, just for the opportunity, because he never got to do that, because his family wasn't fucking with the pagan holidays and all of that shit. So you gotta take the time to do the things that you used to like to do as a kid. You know what I'm saying? And that will help you access your child self, and that will help you tap into your real superpower. You know what I'm saying? Get a coloring book. I used to love reading manga and comic books. I was a big comic book head. Like I said, I plan on collecting that stuff. Sometimes I just go to Barnes and Nobles and I just be reading the comics and shit, and I just go back home because I live so close to it. You know what I'm saying? You might have to do whatever you used to like to do based on your different age range and stuff. You know, I used to love playing board games and shit like that on when it would be like indoor recess. So I may need to find an outlet or somewhere where I could go do that. Find someone who's having like a board game night or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, every time I've done this stuff, like it just helps me access my child self, and it just helps me feel more powerful. It also helps me with healing and stuff too, because there's a lot of things my child self wanted to do that I never got to do. So I am slowly doing that. That's why I said with the BMX bike, like this year for the first time I went on a haunted trail. I've always wanted to do shit like that when I was a kid, just never had the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Or I would always get in trouble, or I'd always like self-sabotage my way in some which way and then fuck up the opportunity. So now I'm taking the time to do it, and it's definitely making a lot of progress for me in my, you know, work to like heal that childhood trauma, to reconnect with my child self, to reconnect with the part of me that's still like wounded. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that this does the same thing for you. I hope you get inspired watching this. Like, oh, I used to love doing this and that. Oh, I used to love playing with my Bratz doll, giving it little makeup and stuff like that. Oh, I used to, like, you know, whatever it may be for you. But just try it out. You know what I'm saying? You may not be, your ego, you might be a nigga, your ego too crazy, so you may not be able to go play with toys or something right now. But, you know, start with the video game. Start with something. Start where whatever level that you're at. But I promise you, like, it's something that I've tried and it definitely works. And watch my other video about healing your inner child. And then I have another one coming up about watching, be like, how I start to watch the memories in my mind, and like going back and looking at the pictures and shit. So, you know, all of this is just to do the work to reverse a negative behavior that we have accumulated that has us negatively programmed and going against ourselves. So we can reverse that and put positive programming so we can propel ourselves to where we want to be. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.